When you look at your calendar wall or book an appointment on your phone, dedicating Tuesday for cardio or Monday for a sushi date, has it ever occurred to you how these days got their names? Do you ever stop and thought, why is today called Monday instead of Lake Day? Perhaps you wouldn't fix your appointment for Thursday if you know the history behind the name. But all that is about to change now, because in this video we would be learning how days of the week got their names, and I hope you are prepared to be surprised. Let's start with Sunday. But before we learn how Sunday got its name, we must first understand who named it. Because how Sunday got its name, or even how there are 7 days in a week, is not a coincidence. The ancient Romans valued both tradition and exploration. So when they discovered other planets outside the Earth, they had to mark the significance of this discovery. To them, the sun was another planet, even though they had little idea it was not. Therefore, Sunday became a day to reflect on the spiritual and physical energy renewal that the sun provided. Many of them attended holy services and took the time to rejuvenate both body and spirit. The association with the sun also reinforced the importance of nature's cycles. Farmers understood that the sun governed the seasons, guiding their planting and harvesting schedules. Sunday, as a day of rest, was not only a time for physical renewal, but also a moment to honor the sun's power and the divine order that governed life. The next one is the moon, which was among the 7 planets they discovered. However, they just didn't conjure the name Monday because it rolls off the tongue easily, but because the moon was believed to influence many aspects of daily life, especially farming. In fact, Romans believed that the phases of the moon could determine the best times for planting, harvesting, and even livestock care. The association with the moon also tied this day to rest and reflection. After the busy work of the weekend, Moon's Day served as a day to recover, physically and spiritually, preparing for the laborious days ahead. The moon's gentle influence made Monday a day for recuperation. What about Tuesday? Well, this is a bit tricky because they did not discover any planet named Tuesday. However, let's take a step back to examine the languages that evolved from ancient Rome. So the Spanish word for Tuesday was Martes, a day named after the planet Mars. I know you are still a bit lost because Tuesday doesn't sound like Mars, but there is a Norse god called Tiw. This is the god they consult when they are about to go to war, so they made it a tradition to name a day after this god, Tiw, which is reflected in the name Tuesday. So Tuesday was a combination of the corresponding name structure of Norse mythology joining in on the Romans' discovery of planet Mars. You'd find the same thing happen to how Wednesday got its name. So, the Spanish name for Wednesday was Miércoles, which is associated with the planet Mercury. Mercury was the closest planet to the sun, and to avoid being consumed by it, Mercury has to be revolving around the sun at an incredible speed, which makes it the fastest moving planet. But we don't have it as Mercury's day. Instead, another Norse god's name was adopted, which was Woden or Odin, the All-Father, who shares a similar comparison with Mercury in terms of speed. Woden was associated with wisdom, knowledge, and travel, often depicted as a god who sought out wisdom through sacrifice. This day was linked to both intellectual and physical labor, reflecting Woden's influence. Ancient people might have used Wednesday to tackle more complex tasks, because it was also a day to gather knowledge and wisdom, so that was how they came about the Woden's Day, which we now call Wednesday. Thursday should be the easiest name to decipher because based on Norse mythology, there is only one god that wields hammer and lightning. But in case you haven't seen the movie that gave Chris Hemsworth his fame, we are talking about Thor. So which planet was associated with Thor? Well, that should be Jupiter because that was the only planet in Roman mythology that wielded lightning. Thor was associated with Thursday for its similarity with Jupiter, and according to history, Thursday was a day associated with both physical strength and protection, particularly for their crops and livestock. In an era where natural disasters and storms could devastate a community's livelihood, Thor was called upon for his protective powers. Friday, like other days, was an intertwined connection between Norse mythology, language, and planet. Viernes is Friday in Spanish languages, which was corresponding to the goddess of love and beauty in relation to the planet Venus, also for its beauty. But in Norse mythology, Frigga was the goddess of beauty, so the name Friday was formed from the similarity of planet Venus and the Norse mythology goddess of beauty Frigga. So Frigg's Day, or Friday, is named after Frigg, the Norse goddess of love, marriage, and fertility. Frigg was also associated with the home and family, which made Friday a day deeply tied to domestic duties and community bonding. Saturn's Day, just as the name sounds, is named after planet Saturn, the Roman god of agriculture, time, and liberation. In Romans' time, Saturday was often associated with preparing for the work week ahead. Planet Saturn, known for his connection to the harvest and the cycles of nature, gave Saturday a unique focus. Ancient people would often use this day to complete any lingering tasks around the farm, whether it was gathering final supplies, fixing tools, or organizing for the busy days ahead. It was also a time of rest and spiritual preparation, with many turning to Saturn for blessings on their fields and crops. The day's connection to time meant that Saturn's day often marked a transition, where farmers wrapped up their work and took stock of the week's progress. The names of the days of the week weren't just arbitrary labels, they were deeply connected to gods, nature, and planet. From the moon's influence on Monday to the sun's life-giving energy on Sunday, each day had its own unique significance. These names reflect the rich tapestry of Roman and Germanic traditions that shaped modern society and its advancement. So what's your favorite day? Share it in the comments below, and don't forget to check out my other videos for more fascinating insights from history.